wait for this entire report to be out, because it's actually a holistic. The committee has tried to address all these issues holistically. So by the time you now single out this levy and you start implementing it, of course that will contradict, as I said, the whole idea of even having the committee in place, in the first instance. And I'm also quarreling with even the amount of the levy. 0.5% is on the high side. Yeah. Okay, that translates to 5,000 for every 1 million. So it's on the high side. And the fact, another thing too that concerns me is nobody is saying security is not important. But again, if this kind of levy were say tied to something that the people can relate to, if you tie it to say infrastructure, or you tie it to say poverty reduction, so people can easily pinpoint what the money will be going to do. Yes, security is important, but of course we know security is quite opaque. All right, so something like infrastructure will have related more, to the people than just talking about, cyber security. Imagine what the volume of money we are talking about here. For example, next year it's projected that this NIP, instant transfer payments, would amount to over 900 trillion naira. Okay. And what that boils down to, if you take 0.5% of that, so you're looking at trillions of naira. Okay, that kind of money will go a long way to address some of the infrastructure problems we need. Okay. We need in this country. So I'm not saying security is not important, but I am also saying that there are priorities. Number one, the amount is high. Number two, we can also attach it to things that relate more to the people, that will also help to bring about better living standards for Nigerians.
Thank you very much, Prof. I'm afraid we have to just leave it there. I believe you have other engagements. Thank you very much for your contribution.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, now moving on. The U.S.-Africa Business Summit in Dallas, Texas is focusing on conducting business interests between the United States of America and the African continent. The Nigerian delegation, led by Minister of Foreign Affairs Yusuf Tuga, is engaging the United States government on trade and investment infrastructure at a high-level panel on agribusiness, focusing on transiting from food insecurity to thriving agribusiness. The Minister of Foreign Affairs reaffirms Nigeria's commitment in ensuring the nation's agricultural sector is highly productive. The Nigerian delegation.
We're here to support initiatives that empower African leaders. The diversity of U.S. departments and agencies represented in Dallas reflect and depth of opportunities for partnerships with the United States. And this is key because the ideas and innovations that start in Africa will help solve the problems that impact us all.
And you can see how all of this goes back to agriculture, which still remains the mainstay of the majority of Nigerians, because they rely on rain-fed subsistence agriculture. So that is why this administration is building on the achievements of the previous administration that did quite a lot of work on growing what we eat. So rice has we became a bit bourgeois, and we turned to rice. So we are growing. There was a presidential rice initiative that saw to the expansion of rice production. Rice mills cropped up. And so now the challenge is to sustain that. There was equally a presidential fertilizer initiative.
The Nigerian delegation at this summit is also attending other sidelines meetings to attract more investment. Now, in a bid to address the rising food inflation crisis in Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu last year declared a state of emergency on food security and unveiled a series of immediate interventions aimed at ensuring food availability and affordability for all citizens. With the president approaching his 1 year in office, it is essential to assess the efficacy of these policies and their impact on the country's food security situation. Where do we stand today, and in what areas could could we improve? Are there any missed opportunities or untapped potentials that can raise the bar in the year to come? To do justice to this subject matter is Professor Yahaya Kuta. He joins us via Zoom from Mina, Niger State. Prof, it's a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you. Pleased to be with you this afternoon.
Okay, beautiful. I believe you must be following, or you must have been following the development in the agricultural sector. This is almost a year since this administration came to power. So what's your assessment based on the development so far in the agricultural sector?
Thank you. So far, so good. What you can be very proud to say is that the government decision under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to declare a state of emergency on food security and to also restructure the Ministry of Agriculture from Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security is a clear testimony that the president's main business in terms of focus on food security. So the agricultural component is all encompassing, where you talk about the issue of production system in agriculture, especially the crops, entire value chain from production processing through marketing, and all processes are involved, and the entire extension system to drive this process. And most importantly, the issue of food security, which is germane to human survival, based on the fact that you talk about tripod of availability of food, access, and affordability, and the nutritional content of the food are some of the parameters of measuring food security. So when you put all this together, what is the current status from where we met it in 2023 when the president took over? You can see that there is a massive consolidation effort by the government to try to sustain the tempo of what the previous administration has done in terms of food system in Nigeria. And you can say confidently that yes, the fertilizer initiative, the presidential fertilizer initiative, and rice initiative, all those projects have been escalated with even the wheat production program. And that you see the Minister of Agriculture aggressively pursue some of those things when he launched them in Jigawa. And most recently, the president was also supporting subnationals, especially his visit to Kebbi State, his visit to Niger State to support the farmer governor in the launching of the agricultural mechanization intervention in Niger State by the governor Umar Bago and others. I think is something that we need to be proud of, and that I am very confident that when Nigeria hosted the whole of Africa in terms of Africa Extension Week in November 2023.
Okay, food inflation is at around 40% when the last time I checked. And when do we get to see the outcome of these efforts that have been put in place? Professor Kuta, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Inflation is right now I think it's around 40%, according to National Bureau of Statistics. And if you look at it, you just said there are a lot of effort. Government have put a lot of efforts to address this issue. When do we get to see the outcome of these efforts? Because right now the farming season is yet to start properly.
Well, you see, when you listen to even the minister spoke at the ongoing conference in Dallas, he said Nigeria has precariously depended on rain-fed agriculture. And I think there is a departure now with more irrigation support system that will enhance dry season farming and accelerate our potentials. I think this is what we're waiting for. And I know that the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, with support of subnationals and states, they have also, key into the dry season farming, which must have accounted for some of the changes that we see in the supply chain of food in recent time. And most importantly, too, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has shown interest in livestock development because he received the Livestock Reform Conference report in September 2023, and is also at the verge of inaugurating the implementation committee of these livestock reforms, which will further expand the diversification of our.
Professor Kuta, can you hear me? Just, Professor Yahaya Kuta. Well, moving on, the Naira depreciated to 1,415 Naira to a dollar in the Paro market Tuesday from 1,410 Naira to a dollar on Monday. Similarly, the Naira depreciated in the Nigerian foreign exchange market, NAFEN to 1,416 Naira 57 kobo to a dollar. Consequently, the margin between the parallel markets in NAFEM rates narrowed to 1 Naira 57 kobo per dollar from 55 Naira 79 kobo to a dollar on Monday. Here's what the Naira is exchanging for other currencies, the official market. Well, it seems like we can actually Professor Kuta, it seems like you're back.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just briefly, what should we expect maybe from this point on for the administration in terms of agricultural development?
Yeah, we should expect all the structures that have been put in place and the aggressive pursuit of, agricultural initiatives across Nigerian space and the subnationals and in collaboration with the federal minister of agriculture that are and food security that is championing new dimension in terms of escalation of extension system that we'll see will work with the farmers across the divide, across the entire value chain, and also the integration of animal agriculture as one of the key focal points of business component of agriculture instead of the sedentary rudimentary approach that it will be seen as a business. And the business component of agriculture now is also encouraging because you can see changes in terms of precision agriculture, in terms of addressing climate change, in terms of the government deliberative effort at revitalizing some of the moribund fertilizer production systems and the indigenous efforts at collaborations with key agencies of government that the ADPs will bounce back to reckoning extension will take its pride of place in the Nigerian agricultural system. And I see that the food security question will gradually be a successful story with the irrigation intervention that is going to follow and complementary services that will come from addressing agriculture subsequently.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Yahaya Kuta. It's been a pleasure having you in the program.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now let's head to the commodities market where gold prices were steady on Wednesday while market participants awaited fresh cues from U.S. Federal Reserve officials for further clarity on the timeline for potential interest rate cuts. Let's see prices of other commodities. And out to energy market, where oil prices fell on Wednesday as industry data showed a rise in crude and fuel inventories in the U.S. as the U.S. dollar strengthened, signaling that demand for oil is coming under pressure. Brent crude oil futures fell $1.11 to $82.05 a barrel, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures fell $1.15 to $77.23 a barrel. Both benchmarks fell marginally in the previous session on signs of easing supply tightness and weaker global oil demand from an international energy agency forecast report on Tuesday. The Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, has urged the Fiscal Responsibility Commission to concretize its active functionality for the national development of the country. This was when Chairman of the Commission, Victor Maroko, and management staff of the Commission paid him a visit in his office. The minister encouraged the group to study and emulate developed countries that had encountered similar challenges with Nigeria during their struggling years in order to extract the policies and strategies they applied and thus produce developmental recommendations for Nigeria's development. Bagudu further urged the Commission to concern itself with the federal government providing social amenities to Nigerian citizens rather than setting limits of consolidated debts for all tiers of government. Well, this is where we end today's edition of Business Express. We value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations, and suggestions coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are available on YouTube on the NTA's channel. Our Business Express returns tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. I am Musa Abubakar. Thanks for your company.
From the creeks of the Niger Delta to the breathtaking scenery of the plateau, in noonday and nighttime, we set out to bring to you captivating stories that evoke your emotions. For fascinating documentaries and reports on day-to-day issues with expert analysis, tune in to NTA News24, DSTV Channel 419, GoTV Channel 26, StarTimes Channel 101 and 433, and Free TV Channel 703.
What is fake news? A false information with no verifiable source presented as true story on media platforms with the sole intention of causing injuries, chaos, and disaffection between persons, groups, or countries. Fake news facilitates extremism. Fake news creates panic and distrust. Fake news breeds hatred. Fake news kills. Don't joke with it. Don't